Tonight, a KVWN special, The Water Crisis.
Hi, I'm Ron Burgundy, coming to you live from San Diego.
And I'm Veronica Corningstone.
No matter one's appearance, wealth, or nationality, water is imperative to life. Since the beginning years of history, water shortage has affected much of the world's population. It has played a role in the demise of many ancient civilizations. Sumer, the Hittite Empire, and Mycenaean Greece's decline all have ties to drought. The current global water crisis first emerged around 1800, when moderate shortages appeared. However, primarily due to the compounding population increase over the last 200 years, water scarcity has reached an all-time high, with 35% of the world's population living in severe water shortages in 2005.
Tonight, we view the effects, solutions, and predictions of this water crisis. In the field, we take it to Brian Fantana. What do you have for us today, Brian?
How's it going?
Good, good.
So, what's your name?
My name is Katie Janes.
And who do you work for?
I work for Sierra Streams Institute. I'm a geologist.
Awesome. So we just have a few questions regarding water. I'll just throw in the first question. How would you define the water crisis?
The water crisis is real, and it is probably one of the most significant factors of what affects all of the ways that humans react to things.
Nice. Okay. And what are some of the primary causes that led us into the water crisis that we face today?
I think a few primary causes that led us to the water crisis is not understanding that water is not an infinite resource.
And what changes or patterns have you been seeing in the local environment due to the current water crisis?
Local environment, a few big things that we can see out there is the tree die-off. Another thing that's happening is salmon, which is an endangered species. We all love it. They're not getting the cool enough waters because there's not enough water running through the system.
Nice. Okay. And globally, how do you think that the water affects wildlife?
It's that's such a huge question. So.
Yeah.
So globally, water is a good source of war for humans. So if you take that fighting over resources and clean water and water for our food, take that and put it into the wildlife, it's the same thing. They have to change the way they live. They have to fight amongst each other and amongst other species to grab that little piece of land that they can live off of. And so that's how it's affecting the wildlife. Everything is starting to migrate and move and change because of where the water is.
Nice answer. Okay. And what do you think we can expect in the future on a local level or a broad level?
I hope we can expect us to start taking it more seriously. So one thing that I've noticed is I ride my bike all around these areas. And there's these springs. Well, those springs are drying up, and the reason they're drying up is because there's not a lot of water out there, so humans are sticking their straws into the ground, or wells, and they're sucking up all that water for their plants, for their lawns, for themselves. And so once that groundwater level gets really low, then the springs don't run anymore. And to refill that groundwater, it takes thousands of years to percolate back down. So I'm hoping that the dried up springs and other things are really an acute example of how we need to start changing our policy and how we control the water.
So is there anything that you would like to inform the audience pertaining to this precious substance of water?
Believe the science. It's out there, and science is super, super cool.
Thanks for this interview, and so much. Back to you at the studio.
Great work, Brian. Now we also welcome Arturo Mendez and Wes Mantooth, who have recently switched from their previous positions to being our lead scientists here at KVWN. Welcome, guys.
So tell us, in English, Arturo, what does the general public need to do in order to combat this growing issue?
There are numerous different ways that we could go about resolving this global affair. Some of these include the use of carbon dioxide for industrial application instead of water, leak monitors, handheld water filtration systems, and solar-powered water purifiers. Although most of these ideas are extremely costly and still developing, I have been working with several people and corporations to make them a reality. Until then, there are much simpler ways to address this issue. As a united population with the mutual goal of being more mindful when it comes to water, we could turn off the faucet when brushing our teeth, shaving, and completing other daily tasks. In addition, we could reduce our time spent in the shower, cut back on the amount of water used for landscaping, and recycle as much water as possible. These are all effortless tasks and require little to no time.
You see, Ron and Veronica, these acts that my partner spoke of may seem like they would only create a diminutive difference in the world. However, if completed by the majority of the population, the benefits would be prominently seen. On the other hand, if we are not more cautious in the use of this versatile material, the global economy will undoubtedly regress. Major bodies of water will slowly dry up and water storages will eventually diminish, leaving no water for agriculture or domestic use. In turn, the economy would be deprived of any stability. As a result of this need for water, the global well-being and morale of the general population would significantly worsen. This would ultimately lead to a toilsome situation in which the world's geography, political relations, and economy would potentially need to be revised. It has been predicted by MIT researchers that by 2050, over half of the world's population will be plagued by water scarcity. I'm dearly sorry to cut you off, Mr. Mantooth, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? I just really want to emphasize how important water is to our world and how necessary it is to conserve this precious resource. Thanks so much for having us.
Wonderful information, guys. Truly.
Thanks for joining us tonight and becoming more informed on this worldwide issue. Coming up on KVWN 11 o'clock, we join Champ Kine for your sports report and Brick Tamlin to take a peek into next week's weather. You stay classy, AP World.